Good evening, everyone. Welcome. And thank you for joining us at the 9th Annual DifferenceMaker Idea Challenge. My name is Holly Latlos, and I'm the Entrepreneurial Initiatives Program Director. And tonight we're here to celebrate the 9th Annual $50,000 Idea Challenge. So it should be an exciting event. So this is just an overview of this evening's activities and events. You'll be hearing from 10 finalist teams this evening that will be pitching off to a panel of 8 judges for a chance to win a portion of $50,000 in funding this evening. So as you probably know, DifferenceMaker is a cross-campus entrepreneurship program at UMass Lowell. So if students have ideas they want to pursue or they see problems that they want to solve, they come to DifferenceMaker and we give them the resources and the help they need to move those ideas forward and to solve those problems that they're passionate about. This is just our impact since inception in 2012. So we've received global recognition. Over the years, we've reached over 55,000 students. Each year, on average, about 3,500 to 4,000 students we reach each year through all of the different events we do, workshops, pitch competitions, classroom visits, both on campus as well as in the broader community. Additionally, it's exciting. So we've given away some money to these DifferenceMaker teams, and they've actually gone on to raise over $5 million in additional funding to really push their ideas forward and to make a difference in the world. Additionally, many of our teams have submitted patents and also have received patents, and they've also become legal business entities, both for-profit as well as nonprofit. So tonight, you'll be hearing from these 10 top student teams. So last week on April 7th, we held the DifferenceMaker preliminary pitch-off event where 24 student teams pitched to 20 different alumni and community judges. And I know some of them are here with us this evening. So out of those 24 teams, 10 were chosen to move on to tonight's event. So before getting started, I just wanted to recognize our DifferenceMaker faculty fellows. So these individuals work with DifferenceMaker and act as ambassadors between DifferenceMaker and also within their colleges and their departments. And they've been very helpful in mentoring student teams, attending events, and really supporting the program. So we have Iman Shaheen and Mark Hughes from the College of Education, Mazen El Ghaziri and Brent Schell from the Zuckerberg College of Health Sciences, Carter Keogh, Hunter Mack, and Kalila Wolkowitz from the Francis College of Engineering, Kathy Levy and Neil Shortland from the College of Fine Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences, Ray Mansfield from the Honors College, Tom Wilkes from the Kennedy College of Sciences, and Kevin Willett from the Manning School of Business. So again, I've been working with these folks, some of them for many years, but definitely over this last year, and they've been very helpful to DifferenceMaker and the students. And I also wanted to take a moment just to recognize the DifferenceMaker team. So Steve Tello, who oversees DifferenceMaker, he's the Vice Provost for Graduate Professional and Online Studies. Jackie Buckley, who's the Senior Assistant to the Vice Provost, and she works closely with me and the DifferenceMaker team. We also have 4 awesome WRIST co-op students who work with the program, Victor, Lena, Adam, and Yeharn. And then I also wanted to take a moment to give a shout out to the operations team who's supporting the Zoom event this evening, Adam Dunbar and Graham Allen. So thank you all. And next, I'd like to recognize the sponsors who have actually made this event possible and who have really helped raise awareness of DifferenceMaker and help with the success of the program. Foley and Lardner LLP, Kim and Brian Rist, Andrew Sutherland, and Jack Wilson. So I want to sincerely thank you all for your support of the program. And we have a lot of people here this evening, so I just wanted to thank everyone for being here. Chancellor Maloney, Provost Joe Hartman, who are big supporters of the program, as well as all the students here this evening, the judges, the directors, and everyone who has really helped make DifferenceMaker what it is today. I also want to take a minute just to recognize the preliminary pitch-off judges. So I mentioned we held the preliminary pitch-off event last week on April 7th, and we engaged 20 alumni judges in this event. So without their help, that event would not have been possible. So I just wanted to take a moment to recognize them. And I know a lot of them are here with us this evening. So thank you for your time and support in scoring those teams and also giving them feedback. And of course, we wouldn't be able to have tonight's event without our amazing judges who are joining us this evening. So I wanted to welcome them and also thank them. Lorna Boucher, who's the Chief Marketing Officer of Instinet Holdings Incorporated. Cindy Condi, who is the CEO of Condico. Roger Cressy, who's a partner at Liberty Group Ventures, LLC. John Pellicino, who is the chairman and CEO of Group 3 International, Ltd. Jim Regan, who's the president and CEO of Digital Federal Credit Union. Brian Rist, who is the chairman of the Rist Family Foundation, and who also established the Rist DifferenceMaker Institute a couple of years ago. Oops, I'm forgetting to go through the slides here. Okay, and then Mark Saab, who is the founding trustee of the Saab Family Foundation, and Jack Wilson, who is the president emeritus of the UMass system and a distinguished professor of higher education and emerging technologies and innovation at UMass Lowell. So again, this event would not be possible without all of you. So I just wanted to thank you for your time and support. And I'm very excited to have Chancellor Maloney here with us this evening. So it's my pleasure to introduce her. She's the biggest champion of the DifferenceMaker program. It was actually her idea. So she envisioned this 9 years ago and worked with different people on campus to make it happen. And she really ensured that it had a cross-campus collaborative as well as an experiential learning focus. So I must say the success of DifferenceMaker is definitely in part and due to the vision and commitment of Chancellor Maloney. So please join me in welcoming Chancellor Jacqueline Maloney.
Thank you, Holly. Thank you for those kind words, and thanks to everyone for being here. When I see all of you students, I can't tell you how proud I am of you, that you are here competing, 10 teams tonight, but many of you who competed in the initial go-round, congratulations to all of you. I hope that you have a lot of takeaways from this experience, just putting together your ideas. I'm always so impressed, as are our judges, who I would like to thank for their contribution to this program. We're always so impressed by your creativity, for your problem solving, the way that you work together as teams. You're really amazing, and you are the best of UMass Lowell, and you take what we are teaching you in the classroom and to come up with these fantastic ideas. I not only wish each and every one of you great luck tonight, you'll all walk away with something to each of the 10 finalist teams, but for all of you, the great thing about learning is when you learn lessons, no one can ever take them away from you. So hopefully you've all learned a lot going through this. So thank you, Holly, to you and your team that you already called out. You're a phenomenal part of this university, and giving these experiences to these students through the past year has been remarkable. Steve Tello, I see you on there, special call out. Steve and I have been partners at a number of programs that we've launched together. DifferenceMakers was one of them. And so thank you for all your hard work and your great accomplishments with now GPS that you're working so hard on. To the faculty, as working as faculty fellows, I've seen the influence you have had on these student teams. And I know the student teams who are on here tonight want to personally thank you. So students, if you can all just raise your hands, give a clap, send them a text. They always go above and beyond. Why? Because they're believers. They're believers like you are. They know, they trust in you And they see things in you that probably sometimes you didn't think you had there yourself, and they help draw it out of you. So heartfelt thanks to our faculty fellows for everything you do to inspire these students to take their ideas to the next level. Preliminary judges, I saw the list of names. Thank you for this and for all that you do for the university, and to this panel of judges tonight. You should all know that this panel of judges, if it, Holly said about me, but honestly, they're the ones who encouraged me as a leader to think about how we could help our students. Many of them have started their own businesses or have been CEOs of major corporations. They're entrepreneurs in their own heart of hearts. And they're the ones who encouraged us to think about this kind of unique experience that we could give our students, give you the chance to test yourself, to see what it's like to take a chance on an idea. They're the ones who came up with the funding, this $50,000 that we will share with you tonight. It was them who helped us to launch DifferenceMakers. So to see them all convene tonight, first, again, thank you all for all that you do for UMass Lowell, for your friendship, and especially during this past year, to all the judges, the faculty, all of the support staff. Thank you for everything you did. This was a tough year to get through, but you did remarkably well. And I'd also like to call out all of the members of the senior cabinet, our executive cabinet, who are here with us. Trust me, you would all and should be proud of this community here at UMass Lowell and how we got through this pandemic. But on to tonight, we're so excited to hear the pitches. I know that you know there's been so many teams that have been funded. The judges have been doing a great job. Holly mentioned some of the high level numbers, but you look at a team like Invisaware, you know, they won the 2016 challenge. And you think about it today, they have a company that employs 10 people. They have recently signed on with ADT, a leading security company in the United States. And in 2019, Ambulatory Innovation, who have already gone on and pitched and won regional competitions against Harvard, MIT, BU, Northeastern, and others. So we don't just beat them in sports, we get them on this front as well. And so we're so excited to think about what your ideas might be. And we know out of tonight, we're expecting great things. Because as Holly said, remember, we have great confidence in you. This is just your first step of taking what you have learned in the classroom, what you've learned as part of this community, and applied it to solve what is a real world problem out there that needs your attention. Because we know that's what you're going to do in your future. We know we've prepared you to be leaders. Tonight is just one step along the way. Congratulations to everyone. Thank you all for your help. Thanks for being here to support these remarkable students. Thank you, Holly. I'll turn it back to you.
Yes, thank you so much for your thoughtful comments, Chancellor Maloney. That was really nice. And thank you for your support and also your time in attending the event this evening. So now I would like to introduce this evening's MC, Dr. Neil Shortland. So Dr. Shortland is an assistant professor in the Fine Arts, Humanities, Social Sciences College, and he's also been a DifferenceMaker faculty fellow for several years. People may know him best as the mentor to the successful 2017 campus-wide DifferenceMaker winning team, Operation 250. So we're excited to have Dr. Shortland MC the event this evening. So Professor Shortland, I will pass it off to you. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you very much, Holly. Thank you for the introduction and everyone who spoke before me. So no, just to reiterate the sentiment of the room, it's an absolute honor to be here and to facilitate. I've always had a very deep, fond affection for what DifferenceMakers does. And to give you, I think, a sense of how your lives may change this evening, Holly mentioned the Operation 250 nonprofit. I know Roger, actually, one of the judges tonight, played a key role in their early development. But actually, in the wake of the January 6th riots, they were actually called up to a House subcommittee to give presentations on online safety. So from the classroom to Congress through DifferenceMakers in a space of about 3 years. So the the companies you are proposing really can make very large and important changes to the world. So I'm just thrilled to be here. It's an honor. Normally they let me on stage with a microphone. I guess I'm kind of kept to my room today, so I'll probably be slightly more well-behaved, but it's a real pleasure to be here. So thank you very much. And I have been given some formal scripts to actually kind of walk us through the evening. So for the next couple hours, we have 10 student teams, and we will be hearing from each of them. Each team will be given a brief 5-minute opportunity to pitch to the judge, which will be followed by 5 minutes of a judge's Q&A. Those for the students, when you're giving your presentation, if you keep an eye, Holly will be holding up a kind of a large 1-minute sign in case you kind of wander too far into the weeds. Now, this 10 teams themselves, and this is one of the things I think is so important about difference makers, come from every school across the campus. And I know this is something Holly has worked really hard on, and kind of we as a group have always tried to work really hard on, but 50 different teams applied for difference makers from 30 different schools within UMass Lowell. You know, this is an entire UMass Lowell effort, and we have a diverse group of non-profits, for-profits, technology-based, social movement-based, a really exciting, diverse group of teams to present to us all tonight. So after the pitches, after our 10 teams, there will be a 45-minute intermission where our panel of judges have the difficult job of determining the final awards, at which point we can all come back and hear the winners. Now, one of the things that's so fantastic about the Difference Maker competition, and for the teams making it this far, is there are several different award categories for this evening. So lots of different ways that we're assessing the teams, and that there are winners in their own right. So the first one we have is the RIST Campus-Wide Difference Maker Award, which is a $7,000 award, and that was sponsored by Brian List, a UMass Lowell alum of 1977. We also have the Significant Social Impact Award, which is a $4,000 prize to help a team that has a significant social impact. We have the Sutherland Innovative Technology Solution Award, $4,000, sponsored by Andrew Sutherland, UMass Lowell alum of 94. We have the Contribution to a Healthier Lifestyle Award, which is the $4,000. And then we have the Jack M. Wilson First Product to Market Award, which is another $4,000 award sponsored by Jack Wilson, President Emeritus. For the last two, we have the Commitment to a Sustainable Environment Award, $4,000, and we have the honorable mentions who each make are awarded $2,000. So for all of the teams, there are so many different opportunities to get that injection and that kickstart to help you kind of take your projects to the next level. So Holly, with that, are we ready for our first team?
Ready to go.
Are ready for our first team, in which case I shall do my job. So our first team for the evening is Apple a Day. And our 3 team members here are Emily Philpott, Jack Ryan, and Parem Patel. So I shall pass over to them for their 5-minute pitch, followed by the judges' Q&A.
All right, thank you. Let me just share my screen. Get organized. And all right.
Okay. Hello, my name is Emily Philpott. I'm a junior in the Mechanical Engineering Department with a Bachelor of Arts in Psychological Science and Studio Art from the University of Vermont.
Hi, my name is Jack Ryan. I'm a junior in the Mechanical Engineering Department and a minor in math.
Hi, my name is Parem Patel. I'm a junior in Mechanical Engineering with a Business Administration minor.
Our product is Apple a Day, a pill container for youth and young adults. To start with a quote, I felt embarrassed when I stayed with my friend recently and he said he's never seen a young person use a pill case, but it makes my life so much easier. We've identified a major problem. Children, teenagers, and young adults have difficulty with medication or multivitamin regimen compliance. Non-compliance can lead to dangerous medical issues in the short term and the long term. Pill cases aid greatly in adherence, but the conventional weekly pill case lacks the style and fun that many youth are drawn to, and the stigma of a pill case is for use by the elderly and those who are extremely sick, not by younger populations. And at these ages, taking medications can be an embarrassing and psychologically taxing task. Pill cases have traditionally been marketed towards older adults. This makes sense. As you can see from the CDC graph shown, 85% of ages 60 and over take one or more prescription drugs. These are marketable age groups that are overlooked. When split between male and female, these numbers remain the same, highlighting that this is an omnipresent concern regardless of sex.
In terms of what's on the market right now for pill organizers, these are some of the top competitors. There's Grandma's Pill Case on the left, a low-cost option, but it's bland and impractical to use on the go. Then there's the Citrus Case, produced by a few different companies on Amazon. It's more unique design with a rotating component and an appealing style, but it's been known to be flimsy and doesn't have adequate space that consumers need for their daily medication. The companies actually say to buy multiple to use for morning, noon, and night medications, effectively tripling your costs. Next, there's an option for the on-the-go pill organizer. It's got AM and PM slots, colorful design, but it isn't too durable for the long term, and sometimes people feel uncomfortable transporting their meds in cases that you can see straight through. So how can we do better than that? We came up with this. It's a pill organizer in the shape of an apple. It's got 7 labeled removable slices for the 7 days of the week. Each slice has 3 components for morning, noon, and night meds. We'd produce this using the same plastic you find in your pill bottle at home. And what's our product's value? The biggest advantage of an apple a day is how easy it is to take on the go. In comparison to having to take entire pill bottles with you on your daily outings, you take today's slice for today's doses and leave the prescription bottle at home. It's discreet, it's casual, it's fun. Everything snaps together like a Lego set. And for safety precautions, we include a child safety key lock stem that only opens in one position and locks everything into place. And just like every good product, it comes in your favorite color too. And now here we see an open view of how the product works. There's a T-shaped tab that slips into the slot in the core and gets secured into place. It's a straightforward and sturdy design.
We conducted a survey consisting of 66 people aged ranging from 12 to 59, according to the CDC graph in the previous slides. In the survey, 64.6% of people take daily prescription medication or vitamin. Also, 49.2% of people forget to take daily prescription medication or vitamin. However, 70.8% people do not currently use a weekly pill box or other method of pill or vitamin organization. The feedback from potential consumers after viewing Apple a Day product in the second section of our survey, 93.8% of people are still interested in purchasing and using a product. The application of funds would be used in high quality 3D printed prototype, legal fees for business formation, and also patenting process that includes prior art search and initial patenting fees that all adds up to $6,825 to $7,825. Further funding would be used towards injection molding of finalized product. Our next steps include improvement upon safety mechanisms and modes of attachment, 3D printing high quality prototype, also further detailed interviews and surveys. Any questions? Thank you and stay safe.
Yes, hi, this is John Polishino. I have one question. You indicated they would like this, but did they speak to why they would like to use this over other pill boxes? What was the reasons they would prefer to use this one?
So in our survey, the feedback that we found was that a big part of this is how discreet it was. So a lot of people hide their pills away, and when they hide it from others, they hide it from themselves. So whether it's in a drawer, a bag, or a bag in a bag, people aren't seeing their medication and taking it. A big thing with our product is that you can leave it out. People don't really know that it's a pill case. It allows users to keep their pills out where they can see it to remind them to take it when, so they don't forget to take it because it's out in plain sight.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Cindy Condi. Nice job on your presentation, and certainly a colorful solution to, I think, a real problem that I don't think has been solved to the level of degree it needs to. I mean, no matter what age group you're in. So I've experienced every single one of those pill box with various people that in my life. So, but I wanted to ask a question because I was thinking about just how does this really differentiate in terms of increasing the level of pill taking compliance, because that's an issue everywhere. And so I was wondering if there was any consideration that you'd given to kind of expanding this offering so that there's maybe a digital component to this, you know, some linkage with your iPhone to give you some type of an alert to say, you know, remember, because at the end of the day, it's great to have, I think, a nice pill box, but it's also, you're going for increased compliance, right?
Right. And so for this design, it's supposed to be a low-cost solution, you know, something that's simple and easy to take on the go. And obviously, we want to expand in the future to have more technological components involved in our product. But for right now, we want to just, you know, really nail this design, get it successful onto shelves, and then we can expand and add those technological components. But what we really see is that we want people to be taking their medications, and having it be having slices on the go makes that easy to do.
Yeah, we hope to have like an affordable analog option, which is what you see. And then down the line, we have like had talks with people for programming to add a Bluetooth component, so or light LED to let you know, hey, you haven't taken this. And then this is like something we hope to expand with other types of pill cases, other shapes, and then other Bluetooth components. So you'd have a digital and an analog solution, but we really wanted to focus on maintaining costs at a reasonable level for this one.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you.
My apologies if I missed it, but what's the price point that you're thinking about?
So we want to be in around the $15 range, which compared to our competitors, that's above where they are. But we have a unique and stylistic design that we think people would be willing to raise their value for.
Is that because the cost of fabrication, you know, like what margin are you looking at in terms of a profitability on that price point?
So we go ahead,
So currently we got a quotation pending from a company, but we are estimating it around the production cost to be around $7 to $7.5. And we see that if we increase our production unit per year, or like if we have 10,000 units in a year, that would decrease our production cost a little more, and that would also decrease the selling price.
Get it. Okay.
So this is Brian Rist. So my question is, have you given any thought to how you will market? Are you going to go directly to consumers, or you're looking for some other venue to market it?
Yeah, so we're really trying to start with a grassroots marketing campaign. So at this level, we're going to do a lot of the social media ourselves. So getting out there on platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, TikTok is a huge one for user content, and really like highlighting our product in our own ways. Like I have an art background, so really taking great photography. Jack is very creative with video footage. So we really want to keep kind of the cost low on that, but we really feel as though with the connections we have to people in the social media community, we can really start to get our voice out there and really hopefully have a ripple effect that brings a lot of attention to our product.
Thank you.
Great presentation. I just wondered, and a beautiful product actually, but the one thing that I wondered about, have you had any pushback from prospective users about the size and the ability to kind of carry it with you and conceal it? A small pill box you could kind of slip in your pocket. I'm not sure that would work as well.
So what you take on the go is actually individual slices. So they're easy enough to fit in your pocketbook, or even a backpack. So I don't think that size would really be that much of a factor in people's usability of the product.
Okay, everyone, I'm sorry I have to step in there. I'm sure there were many other questions, but that is the 5 minutes of Q&A. So Apple a Day, thank you very much. Very proud of your presentation, especially with the disruptions. I thought you did a fantastic job. So congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
No worries.
Thank you very much.
With that, while we transition over, I shall introduce our second team, which is Concept Project. This team consists of Garrett Roberts, Adrian Delicoli, Emmy Doswani, Cameron Climo, Ryan Tolley, and Salvatore Fusco. So with that, I'll pass the floor over if you are ready to share your slides and begin your presentation.
Sounds good. Wonderful. Thank you so much.
No worries. Good to see you again, Garrett. Good to see you again, Adrian.
You as well.
All right. So hello, everyone. My name's Emmy Deswani, and these are my co-founders, Adrian Delacoy and Garrett Roberts, and we're the Concept Project. And the Concept Project is a multimedia company that's changing the way social issues are addressed by completing large physical and mental challenges to raise funds and awareness.
And so the problem that we're focusing on right now is the demise of small businesses due to the pandemic. 1 of 7 small businesses have closed, amounting to over 30.7 million over the country. 22.2 million people have lost their jobs, and 8 million Americans have fallen into poverty. What we're trying to do is paint a picture for the United States society, just show through the content and the documenting that we capture how the small business has affected multiple businesses in a variety of industries.
Yeah, we really want to relearn our economy because as we know, the pandemic has brought up all these unknown factors, and we want to get a better reality check on COVID-19.
And like I was saying, we're getting an inside look about how the pandemic has affected multiple businesses in a variety of industries. Adrian will talk about the opportunities that we're offering along the ride as well.
So we just have so many opportunities for absolutely everyone to get involved with this project and our future projects. First of all, participation in our events are always welcome. So if you want to come ride along, run along, or stand and cheer us on as we ride by, that's absolutely welcome. The second way that you can contribute is through donation. The Concept Project that you want to donate of your choice, and of course we'll be giving our proceeds to the successful small business saver, the Barstool Fund. And lastly, we take suggestions. We're here to listen to everybody, and we understand that the ideas of everyone's brains can change the world together. So if you guys have any ideas on ways we can tweak or make our products better, then that's what we're here for, and we're here to listen.
And UMass will be given the opportunity to explain how the pandemic has affected public education. I was a baseball player here at the school up until about a couple weeks ago, where I decided to leave the team, one, because of this and other opportunities arising outside of school. So we plan to, or I've been talking to other athletes about going in and filming how the pandemic has affected college sports as well.
And also, this isn't our first time doing this. We've been on national and local news multiple times, and we've been able to raise $20,000 for other social issues. And so we have a formula to effectively get the word out and spread awareness.
So as we continue to use our formula to do so, we are going to aim our efforts at the business cycle, which is our next project coming up. We're super excited about this multiple-legged biking relay across multiple provinces and states in 2 countries. Consisting of about 300 to 400 miles biked over 8 days.
And as we go through the route, we're going to be conducting interviews with the small businesses we visit to learn about how they're effective with COVID. We have a very good media team built between us and other colleagues we've been working with, so the content will be very well produced.
And like Adrian was saying, this is occurring over 2 countries. We're going to do one from Kittery, Maine to New York City. There'll be one happening out west and one hopefully in Vancouver, Canada. All the content will be displayed through our Instagram and our socials that are all the Concept Project. And we're looking forward to doing that.
We are a team of skilled filmers and documenters, and what we pride ourselves on is our accuracy and our statistics that we carry out. This is our budget.
And just some of the resources that we'll be needing, putting our money towards, hopefully that we win tonight in order to get these items that we need.
So Emmy mentioned, again, we've been recognized by multiple news sources and also just continue to do the work that we do. And we're just super proud to continue the momentum that we have, and that's where we're at right now.
And that about wraps it up.
That wraps it up. Yep.
So So quick question related to is your primary focus on actually creating the events, or is there actually an opportunity that if other folks have events that they want to do that fit within your model, that you'd utilize the skills and expertise that you have from the documenting part of it, the filming and things that you would do that as well, or is this primarily your created events?
You just nailed it, and that I'm excited to answer your question because we're really looking to become a platform for ideas. Users on both sides, understanding that everyone's brain is fully capable of coming up with really effective ideas, and we're a good community assessment tool in terms of understanding what kind of assets we have in our community and how we can use them. And athletes and influencers, documenters, and media people like ourselves are assets that can help us see this formula through in other people's lives and offer the service to connect the problems in our world with the solvers in our world.
So we want people to be able to create their own concept projects, basically. So if you have an idea, you can come to us and we can help you conduct your own concept project, and we'll help you be able to do that with our formula to the best possible way you can to raise the most awareness and funding.
We just had a working example of this with Closed in March. It was completed in 4 countries, the United States, Ecuador, Spain, and Canada, and over 15 countries throughout the United States. And basically what we had people do was jump in the water in the outfits that they wanted to donate in their areas and pick the nonprofits that they wanted to donate those close to. However, Adrian, Emmy, and I had predetermined nonprofits that we had picked beforehand. And all we basically did was gave other people a platform to post themselves, giving back to their own communities.
And we'll continue to give people repeatable tasks that they can do to add to our platform.
So in terms of growth, is your approach that as the platform gets more exposure and you see more success stories, there'll be more people interested in joining up on it? Is that type of organic growth model, or do you have any ideas, or how do you scale up even larger?
Right, that's a good question. You see, I think it does take getting the right amount of users on both sides, and then we'll start to garner competition, and it would be natural growth. We're really focused on people we know and communities we can connect with to start getting a usership for the athletes and influencers on one side, and the nonprofits and everyone who stands to benefit from everybody's ideas on the other. So yes, we're going to slowly start building our platform with more and more users, and people will start to realize what's at stake for them, and hopefully want to do their very own concert project.
And as other brands start to see us in the news as much as we are, we hope to gain a sponsorship in that way as well.
So every project we do too, our following and the more exposure we get grows exponentially. So I think that the growth comes with each project we do, and the more we do, the bigger the growth.
That's
so in this
true. We started with the wag and walk.
Yeah, hi. Quick question. In trying to assess the deliverables you have for an idea, I mean, do you have a model that suggests to some people who come to you it's just not workable? I mean, is there a cutoff, or do you feel every idea has a solution, has a deliverable that's acceptable? And how do you, particularly dealing with smaller organizations or people on a ground root level, that they have an idea and they want to take it to the next level, how do you assess whether or not it's doable?
So what we try to do is generate social awareness change in various communities, however large or small those communities may be. And what we do is we take a social awareness issue that is in the news, and we take that awareness issue and create an outdoor event that is possible multiple days or just a day long, and make it a physical and mental challenge to yourselves and the others that are doing it. And so basically what we do is we take into account the relevancy of that social issue at the time, and then go forward with that event.
Thank you.
Do you guys see yourselves as sort of the consultants and essentially the promoters of this process? And like sort of how do you view the role that you play on an ongoing basis, and how scalable do you think that is?
Yeah.
And how will you cover your own costs, like your own time? And just curious about the mechanics.
Ever changing, right? We want to co-create the platform ourselves and with others that are not part of our group right now. I believe that ideas breed ideas, and the more ideas that we give others, the more ideas we can spark in them. In terms of scaling up and funding ourselves, we will continue using incredible programs like the DifferenceMaker to try to get ourselves funding for these projects. But again, we've worked with the Wagon Walk, the Highs and Lows, and the Clothing March with a budget of $0.
In a way, we're kind of the seed for other people's ideas. So the more the people see us doing these things for good causes, then they decide they want to do good too. We've had people reach out to us asking about their own concept projects already, and just people, when they experience something that we do, when they do it with us, they just talk about how good it made them feel and how they want to do more.
That's why it makes it worth it.
Mm-hmm.
We're creating a brand as well. Real quickly, sorry, to wrap up. We're going to start branding ourselves too. So we're creating almost a lifestyle around going outside and how giving back to community can promote your own mental and physical lifestyle. And we're going to be branding that through shirts, apparel, and other accessories. And we are hoping to develop that within the next month.
Parcel partnership, is that an ongoing partnership, or is that that was a one-off?
I'm sorry, everyone. I'm sorry. I have to step in. I've been told that we're over time. And Jack, thanks for spotting my frantic attempt. What I would ask, Garrett or Adrian, with Jack's question, if you don't mind writing your response in the chat or as a direct message so that you can give it an answer, and I'll just keep the event moving forward so we stick to time. But
yeah,
thank you for the project. That was another fantastic presentation. I'm really proud of all of you.
Thank you. Just hear the question again. Sorry.
I didn't hear it all that well.
Okay, so with that, I will move us to the next presentation, which is our third team, Digital Life, which is comprises of Sumitri Kumar, Alejandra Luna, Amy Nguyen, and Tina Nguyen. So with that, I shall pass over to Digital Life if they are ready to present. There we are. Thank you.
Hello, we are Digital Life. Our amazing team consists of biomedical engineering students Smriti Kumar, Alejandra Luna, myself, Amy Nguyen, and Tina Nguyen. Our device that we'll be presenting today is a device for the hand that helps people with finger deformities to do daily tasks. We, Digital Life, are centered around people's experiences and hardships of not having resources or money needed to buy existing expensive brands.
In developing and even in developed countries, more than 7.9 million infants have some sort of congenital hand deformities. To an extent, this number is actually an underestimate, as there's a lack of reported and counted data in developing countries. During the initial stages of our project, we're focusing on this congenital hand deformity, known as symbrachiodactyly, where the fingers are actually shortened at birth, as you can see in the photographs. Treatment for this can include surgery, but that's often really expensive and does come with increased risk of complications.
Those with congenital deformities are not the only ones that do not have the full range of motions of their fingers. According to Global Burden of Diseases, Injuries, and Risk Factors Study 2017, globally, there was 4.3 million cases of non-thumb hand amputations and 1.8 million cases of thumb amputations. Our target market is the United States. In 2017 alone, there was 220,000 non-thumb hand amputations and 170,000 thumb amputations. One of the voices of one of those with congenital deformities is Audrey, who is 25. When she was younger, she wanted to play the piano, but because of her congenital deformity, she was not able to. As she grew older, she wanted to wear a ring on her finger. Again, because of her congenital deformity, she felt uncomfortable and she was not able to. Audrey is not the only one that faces obstacles like this. There are many others out there that face similar challenges like she does.
Here's a comparison chart comparing our major competitors, Naked Prosthetics, Open Bionics, and Non-Spec. Naked prosthetics is the most similar to Digital Life as the device focus is also on hand and partials. What makes us stand out compared to all these different devices, however, is that we provide inexpensive pricing along with the ability to be adjustable so that our product lasts a longer time. Presented here are the 3 main competitors along with the prices for each of their respective devices. As you can see, prosthetics in the market right now are really expensive, meaning having hand prosthetics is kind of a luxury. What differentiates us is that we'll provide a device that is inexpensive and adjustable so that it is able to adapt to a person's growth.
This is where Digital Life comes in. We will provide a low-cost 3D printed solution to this problem. Our unique feature of interchangeable fingers will allow people to perform various tasks that give them belonging and independence in their life. Here are our sketches that depict our plans with Digital Life. We want to emphasize our interchangeable fingers and adjustable tracks. We are currently targeting the device towards children. So we want children to not only be able to use the device to perform various tasks, but we also want children to be able to grow with the device. Ideally, the device will last children about 5 years with the help of the adjustable tracks. Here are the resources that we need in order to get things up and running. Currently, we are in need of $4,000 in funds, which will be allocated towards 3D printing, administration costs, materials for our prototype, and legal fees. On the right, we have a table outlining our materials for an affordable and a higher end option of the device. Our materials are relatively cheap. Most of the cost of manufacturing will go towards maintaining a 3D printing space that we need.
We also recognize the need for diversity on our team. That's why we're actively recruiting for people with diverse academic backgrounds in mechanical engineering, plastics engineering, public health, as well as business, specifically marketing and finance.
Listed here are the key takeaways from our presentation that we want to emphasize. And we, Digital Life, want to thank you for taking the time to listening to our ideas and proposal. And thank you to the people involved for making our idea come to Digital Life.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. And with that, we can move to the Q&A. Great presentation.
So this is Cindy Condi again. I have 2 questions. One is I want to try to understand your motivation for targeting this particular issue. And number 2, it looks to me to be a device, right? And is there any concern around regulatory pathways, around approvals, and things like that? I mean, how do you plan to market this?
So our motivation for the device, yeah, we did start out with targeting people who suffer from symbrachydactyly, and particularly children. We just want to be able to give everyone the option to have a device. A lot of the ones on the market currently are really expensive, and we just want to make it more accessible to more people in areas where people are less advantaged.
And an additional thing that I would like to add in is that a lot of these devices that are on market are really expensive. So for children, it's a little bit more difficult. As they grow, their hands also grow. And so addressing that cost and having that adjustability is really targeted towards the children, so parents don't have to buy another device every few years. And as for the question about regulations, there is an FDA approval that's required for a device. We are a class 2 medical device, which means it's mild risk but lower risk. The process for that is about 3 to 6 months of filing. In terms of cost for that, we're a small business determined program. So our cost for that is about $3,000 for filing a 510K approval.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Again, great presentation. The budget that you guys have outlined, what capacity of output would that give you? Like how many devices could you make, sort of vis-a-vis that budget, just out of curiosity?
So right now we're kind of in the trial and error kind of stage. So we want to be able to have enough materials and 3D printing availability to see what works best given our plans that we have now. We are still working in conjunction with a lot of the feedback that we get from people who have more, I guess, experience with this condition. So we will see what works for them and just work according to that.
Understood. So this gets you through the prototyping phase essentially, and then you would figure out, got it. Okay, that's great.
And the other nice thing about the product is that it is a low cost product to produce. So once we begin selling products, it will start to pay back for its own.
Have you guys given any forward thought to distribution, like how you would get this out in the market?
So we have outreached on social media, specifically on Facebook groups of parents that have children with these conditions. And that's how we plan to get our device out there and out on the market and for clinical trials and prototyping.
And we also plan to talk to health professionals that are more in this field to get it out there so that they can get the word out there for others to try it out as well.
Are there any more questions from the judging panel?
And Neil, real quick, so this is definitely prototype to get to, I would guess, say the early adopter. What's your timeline? Do you think this is something you can do in a 6 to 12 month range, factoring in the approvals you need, or how long do you think you'll need before you can start to see a go-to-market reality?
So actually, yeah, we are trying to factor in about 6 to 12 months. Within a year, we would like for it to go to market. We're also thinking about patenting it as well beforehand. This is actually a really new invention, as in there's no one else out there that has adjustable tracks on the fingers and interchangeable fingers along with that. So we're planning to patent it first and then go to market with it.
So this is Brian. Do you actually have a working model and have you used it yet?
We currently do not have a working model yet, but we do have an idea, and we would like to make SolidWorks models out of it to see how it would work as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, judges. Thank you, Digital Life. That was another wonderful presentation. Incredible name. I don't know if anyone said I'm a huge fan of the name and the branding. So really well done. Thank you very much. Okay, so with that, I will be moving us swiftly onto our fourth group. By the sounds of it, it's something I could use. Green fertilizer. That's knowing nothing about it, but I have a terrible garden. So green fertilizer. This is Samuel Alpert, Bernard Tabou, and Vaisal Veng. So if the three of you are ready to share your screen and begin your presentation, we eagerly await it. Fantastic. I shall pass the floor over to you.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, everyone, wherever you are. My name is Bernard. This is Team Green Fertilizer Standalone On-Demand Production System, and the other two members are Sam and Visal. So why is the green fertilizer? I come from Uganda. It's a small country of 93,000 square miles, and the current population is 47 million. It is expected that in 2060, the population would go above over 100 million. And I remember one time when I went to the hospital to check on my knees, I found over 100 children hospitalized and because of malnourishment. So in 2019, United Nations estimated that 41% of the population are actually malnourished, and that tantamount to 18 million. And out of that, 3 million are actually children. So we really have farmers, but these farmers encounter very low crop yield because they lack fertilizer, and the fertilizer which are available actually has they are really very costly. So what solution are we offering them? So we intend to develop a system which is able to produce fertilizer on site from air and water using solar and plasma technology. So the schematic of the system is shown on the left-hand side as shown in the figure. So we have the sun which provides the energy, and this energy is converted into electrical energy. And using the electrical energy, we generate the plasma, and we interact plasma with air and water, and that generates the fertilizer. Now, the benefit of this system is we expect increase in crop yield, and of course, when the crop yield is increased, they would lead to increased revenue, and standard of living would also increase. And secondly, the system is cheap in the sense that the production is done locally in the garden. There is no transportation cost, and the system also uses solar, so that mitigates the emission of greenhouse gases. And of course, the system also has low maintenance, and we have already one prototype which we developed at the University of Massachusetts in the re-engineered energy lab. And the estimated daily production of this system is 0.3 pound per gallon. So I hand you over to Sam.
Thank you, Bernard. So there's significant opportunity for our product. So as you can see, there's over 2 million farms in Uganda and about 600 million farms worldwide. So that would be our target audience. The Uganda population is also expected to increase to about 100 million by 2050. Additionally, there's a cost associated with fertilizer. So fertilizer itself, has a cost associated with it, which we take for granted. But in Uganda, the cost of fertilizer is abnormally high. So as you can see here, it's $600 per ton. You can see this column compared to the worldwide average, at about $300 per ton is about double, the worldwide average. So, the cost of getting fertilizer to farms in Uganda is very high. Additionally, there's abundant solar energy available to produce electricity and, all other means. And we intend to use solar electricity for producing fertilizer. Next slide. So there's a few competitors in the space, only one of which is located in the US, Green Path Industries. The difference between our system and theirs is that our system is solely produced by solar electricity, which is a renewable energy resource. This dramatically reduces the environmental emissions associated with fossil fuel electric production primarily. So that gives us a significant amount of environmental benefits. Also, another benefit to our system compared to theirs is that our system is dedicated for on-site distribution, so it can be installed on every farm in Uganda. And I'll hand it over to Visal.
Thank you, Sam. So our project sustainability is divided into 3 phases. The first one is regarding the demonstration phase, where we have the system installed and we test its feasibility, make sure it's working. And after the demonstration is established, then we will provide technical support and installation guidance to the targeted farmers and local community. And we develop the technician network that provides them the skill that they need. And the next one, the last one, we do the financial analysis, which involve, a system cost, simple payback period, saving from fertilizer usage, and also the increase of crop yields. Next, please. And regarding the resources, right now we already have one prototype that is already sponsored, and we are going to expand to two more prototypes, and then we will bring those systems to Uganda, which is our targeted areas. So the estimated amount, the expenses is around 4,000. So through your support, we can make it possible, and we will make it possible. So please join us to make a difference in people's lives who need it the most. Thank you very much.
This is fascinating. Are you planning to do this as a sort of sustainability and philanthropic project, or are you looking to generate profit on the back of the production? Like, explain a little of that to me.
Yes, so we actually, it is a two-prong. So we intend to make it a product which is able to be functional, and we take it and we sell it in Uganda. Now, why we are targeting Uganda? The fertilizer are already very expensive in Uganda. Per ton is 1 ton is $600 US, and that's a lot of money. But our system, the current cost prototype is $200, and it is a one-time investment for over 25 years, with, of course, some maintenance in between. So that makes it actually very viable in terms of economics. So we intend to actually, yes, we want to commercialize it.
And what kind of markup are you guys thinking about with regard to the cost over the prototype? Just out of curiosity.
The current, you mean the cost of the prototype?
You were saying that you could produce the prototype for 200, or is that just the cost you would sell it for?
No, so that is the current cost of the prototype which we have in the lab, but we if we commercialize it, then the actual cost of the product would actually reduce a little bit, and that makes it even more competitive because when you buy in bulk, when you have bulk production, then each component you're purchasing, like the input, becomes actually cheaper. So we expect that the price would get much lower than the cost of the prototype.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you looked at the energy requirements to run that plasma reactor? Will small solar arrays be able to run that plasma reactor?
Yes. So currently in our prototype, we are using a 75 watt solar panel, and the current watt of the plasma generator is actually 5 watts, but we intend to scale it up to 40 watts. So it still fits within very well, because provided the wattage of the solar is slightly higher than that of the plasma generator, because that's the power which is going to be deposited on the plasma generator. So it will still work well, because what plasma generator does is it converts the low voltage, which is a 12 volt system, into like this one takes it to 20 kilovolts, and that creates the arc, which is actually plasma. Like, for example, like the lightning, if you see lightning, so that's an example of a plasma as well.
To add into that as well, so to simplify it, the system will turn the tap water into the fertilizer, which is a form of nitrate that the plant need. So that is basic the idea of the projects. Yeah.
Just curious, what is the average income of a farmer in Uganda?
The average income. So we have two levels of farmers. We have small scale farmers and large scale farmers. So the large scale farmers are really very few, and they produce crop for export. So they don't really bring food into the market. So in Hano, I know one company, they can get over 50,000, about 50,000 US dollars. Of course, with the conversion, it's maybe a bit tricky for me now, but it is like approximately 50,000 US dollars. But the small scale farmers which we are targeting, and these are the farmers which when we empower them, we think they would solve the problem of food insecurity. They earn about 5,000 to 10,000 US dollars on average. Of course, they have 2 seasons, so we normally have 2 seasons of crop growth, depending on which crop exactly they are really venturing, because we have maize, we have rice, we have beans, and there are different crops. Yes, and also vegetables. Yes.
So would you anticipate that some of the attractiveness of this could be a shared approach? Is that what you're saying? So, for example, multiple small farmers might buy this and share the usability of it, or I'm just
yes. So actually, you're really right. So we intend to market it to a small to these small scale farmers, and of course the investment is actually low, in the sense that they're putting in only maybe $200 or even less than $200, but this system is taking all this long time, 25 years. So in the long run, they'll get actually much, like it becomes more profitable in the long run. Of course, the initial investment may be slightly, it looks like high. So when you tell them in that aspect, then definitely they'll borrow the idea, because let's say they have their the annual income is 5,000 US dollars. So when you bring in this, and of course we are going to test it here, everything up to the growth of the plant. We have already some tomatoes plant we are growing. So we shall see what would be the increased yield. So from that we shall determine exactly that now you have 5,000 US dollars annual. Then when you install the system, then you're able to get this much, like this much production is anticipated. So in that case, it would be easier for them to really to take it up, and we shall really have a broad a very good market. And of course, we want to start with Uganda, and then we advance to other developing countries in Africa and also in Asia. But at one point also, we want to come back to the US, but that's a long-term, like it's a long-term goal.
Bernard, I'm going to have to step in there. Thank you so much. That was a really good Q&A. I very much enjoyed it. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, Green Fertilizer. Another fantastic presentation. Thank you, judges, for the Q&A. And with that, I will be moving us over to the fifth group of the presentations, which is Nav Lens. Nav Lens, our team members here are Daniel Guiliano, Christina Hall, John Houle, Asa Lasurdo, Edwin Malo, and Erin Murphy. Sorry. So if I could pass over to Nav Lens, and when you are ready, please feel free to share your screen and begin your 5-minute presentation.
Okay, so we are Danny, Christy, John, Asa, Edwin, and Aaron, and we are Nav Lens. So we are trying to solve object avoidance for visually impaired persons. As you may well assume, a visually impaired person cannot see what's in front of them. So if they are about to collide into an obstacle, they won't know it until they come into contact with it. This is a major issue for those who are visually impaired because most situations they are in are either they are in a novel space or a dynamic space. That means they're in a new environment that they've never been in before. So like they go to another person's house, or it's a dynamic environment. So like even in their own house, other people might move objects, might move chairs, boxes, shoes, and they won't know it again until they come into collision with the obstacle. So knowing what's in front of you will be a great help to them. Current mobility aids are extremely limited in not only what they can detect, but also what awareness they can provide to the user. So if you go on to the next slide, the visually impaired person is, as it's stated on the slide, defined as a person having visual impairment that cannot be corrected by standard means, so glasses and surgery. So if you cannot reverse the process whatsoever. So this is actually a growing issue in the US because as the population grows from 2015 to 2050, there will be a doubling in the number of people who need aid in this sector. So from 4.2 million doubling to about 8 million. So existing solutions are very lacking in this because they cannot determine depth of the environment. They cannot determine where the objects are relative to the person. And Christina will take you on the competitors.
Currently, there are 4 major kinds of products on the market for visually impaired people. There are seeing eye dogs, standard white canes, smart canes, and phone apps. The object that gives the most feedback to the user would be the seeing eye dog, which costs 50 grand to initially purchase, as well as upkeep cost per year. The other items on the market do not give the user as much feedback. We are attempting to create a product that gives the user a lot of feedback for a cheap price, and Edwin will cover the solution.
Thank you. So what is the solution we are proposing? What we're proposing is a basic fusion of 2 different types of sensing. So the first is depth mapping. If we can get a depth map of the environment relative to the person, you can essentially know very easily where all the obstacles are, and you can localize how much of a threat they are to the person. So if something's like very far away, 3-4 meters away, it's not really a current issue. If something is a centimeter away, that is a pressing issue. And the second type of sensor would be with cameras. So after recognizing where the obstacles are, we can then recognize what the obstacle is. Because if it's just a person who's in front of you, that is not something you can recognize what the person is. It's a person in front of you. Or if it's a chair in front of you, you can recognize that there's a chair in front of you and you can figure out how to navigate around it. Either you can figure out how to navigate around it, or the computer will tell you how to go around, like move to the right and back forward. This will be done not with like a blaring voice in the back of your head saying, move left, move left, move left, but with spatial audio feedback. So you will essentially be hearing what's in front of you. So seeing with your ears. This will let you be able to passively know what's in front of you while going on with your day-to-day life. So the proposition of this is it would improve the independence of users greatly because they can navigate around their rooms without much issue. They can do this very cheaply without needing to spend tens of thousands of dollars on seeing eye dogs or canes that don't help you that much. Give you great awareness of what's in front of you. It can be very discreet, as we can see on the next slide. So the cameras we are planning to use are relatively small, so they can be hidden inside of the frame of the glasses. So you'll just have a stylish pair of glasses on and people might not be even aware that you're blind. So if you want to keep that discreet, you can do that relatively easily. And Chrissy will talk to you about the resources we need to do this.
So our funding, we will need $4,000 to create a prototype for this product. $300 will cover 4 development kits, 1 for each of our engineers. The rest of the funding will go towards exploring patenting options, printing circuit boards, buying components for the prototypes, designing housing. Future, we would like to get FDA approval and establish relationship with manufacturers to create the cheapest product possible for our users. Thank you. Do you have any questions?
Perfect timing. Over to the judges.
So are the cameras commercially available now? So how much off-the-shelf technology can you incorporate into your design at this point?
Most of the design is actually off-the-shelf technology. So specifically for the cameras, we have 2 options. I don't know if you can see what I'm holding right now, but we have 2 small cameras in my hand. Each of these are about $15 to $20, and the system we would need would require 2. So with that, we can get basic depth mapping and image recognition, or if we make a more expensive version that would work even better, there's another off-the-shelf technology called an Intel RealSense camera that does the same thing, but most of the pre-processing is done on the camera. So, and the quality is much better.
Great, thank you.
Welcome.
I mean, this is a brilliant solution for vision impaired people, and you know, there's really, it sounds like there's really great potential here, and a real ability to give people some independence. So let me just say bravo. I think it's intriguing to me that that you guys have sort of landed upon this idea of mapping both depth perception and is there a certain level of visual identification software that you have planned to incorporate into this to like let people know whether it's a chair or a person or you know a rock or etc. Like how are you going to help them understand those differences? Just want to wrap my head around it. It's very cool.
So there's really 2 ways we can do this. If you are trained very well with the device, you can then eventually, the spatial audio feedback is basically just noises in the background of your ears. So you can have specific noises set for specific objects. So you can maybe like a ding to tell you that you're about to walk into a door, or a slightly lower ding if you're about to walk into a chair, or another noise.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you.
And that's all, that piece of it is all commercially available. It doesn't require any type of development on your part with regards to that. I mean, I think this is really cool and very exciting, but I kind of look at it as an analogy of autonomous vehicles, for example, and there's an awful lot of work that goes into that software development and that recognition from a consistent basis. And even the perspective of, based on the height of somebody, is there potential challenges there? It's really interesting. I'm just trying to understand that piece of it a little bit more.
So for the initial product, we're not going to be tackling the image recognition as our first part of the thing. The initial product is most likely just going to focus on using the depth mapping to essentially give you like the echolocation feedback that a bat gets. So you might not know what exactly it is in front of you, but you will know it is something that is remotely chair shaped. In the future, as the AI technology progresses more, we will be able to build image recognition into it.
So if you were to get the money, when do you think you would actually go to market?
We possibly could take this to market within a year.
Okay. Very cool. Thank you.
We have time for one more question if any of the judges have a question they haven't asked. If not, we are more than ready to move on. Okay, in which case, congratulations, Nav Lens, another fantastic presentation. Thank you for all the hard work you put into that. Judges, thank you for the questions. And we shall be moving on swiftly to our sixth team. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, counting is going well. Our sixth team of the evening, which is Terminus. And judging on the picture behind Brian Cleavitt, I'm really hoping it's a spaceship. So please, please be a spaceship. But no, so the team members here are Ariel Shramko, Brian Cleavitt, Elliot Perrone, Renin Kingersley-Yose, and Rohan Goyal. So with that, I will pass over. Brian, whenever you're ready, the floor is yours.
All right. Can you guys see the screen okay?
We sure can. So, hello everyone, we're Terminus, hoping to solve food insecurity one unit at a time. Take us away, Brian.
So the problem, food insecurity is caused when people do not have access to food sources such as supermarkets, farms, and so on. With this, food production issues such as natural disasters and pests have been crippling harvests worldwide. To make matters worse, international national borders and factories closing have had disruptions in food production, food distribution, and have affected food deserts. This has crippled the food distribution system and our economy, and most importantly, people's lives. All these issues have been exacerbated due to the COVID-19 pandemic. In rural areas and low-income urban communities, people are experiencing food insecurity at its highest. So why should we care about food insecurity? 2 billion people worldwide are affected. More than 35 million US households are affected. Over 1/3 of households with children are also affected. In 2012, 54% of Lowell households were dissatisfied with either the amount of nutrition or the amount of food available to them. The COVID-19 pandemic has drastically increased food insecurity. With the Terminus, people will have the comfort of relying on a tightly enclosed portable system, and the Terminus reduces the required space to feed one person by 99%, offering an abundance of opportunity for urban gardening in at-risk communities, and the potential for feeding entire families who live in food deserts and do not have readily access to supermarkets. With the Terminus system, we hope to improve people's livelihoods by increasing accessibility to food. The Terminus will undoubtedly help children score higher on IQ tests and perform better in school mentally, physically, and emotionally.
So I think it's really important to emphasize that we're offering a very high quality product at a very low price. So our design has features comparable to those of NASA models, but our prototype is only $446, assuming a 50% profit. We would still be competitive with commercial models, which sell for about $900. And once we begin mass production, our production costs will only go down. We also offer more features than our commercial versions, including, than our commercial counterparts, including we produce higher calorie foods, we consume less power. We have more features to limit bacterial growth. There's no mess involved. We're highly efficient, which means we take up less space, which makes us portable. There's very little maintenance involved and no expertise required to maintain this. We have some projected yields shown here, and you can see this isn't just a few sprouts, this is a significant amount of food. And finally, we'll create a database of various growth and yield factors that will have significant research and developmental value because it will be the first centralized database of its kind. Next slide, please. So every unit is a fully closed system, which means we do not need a steady source of water, a large power grid, a data link, or chemicals. We also have a very small footprint. We can be run entirely off of renewable energy. A data link is not required, but if available, it would be used to collect data for our database. And our modularity allows people to only buy and house what they absolutely need. And finally, again, no special training is required to operate these units. Next slide. We plan to sell units to relief organizations and nonprofits, which would then send those to the houses of those in need. We plan to begin in Lowell and eventually expand to the entire world. We would also provide access to our database to researchers for a membership fee, which would help fund our cause. Next slide. We have begun construction of our first prototype using the money we won from our first competition, partnered with Engineers for a Sustainable World. We're speaking with the UML Office of Sustainability and Mill City Grows. We're even working on launching our very own website. We're not just an idea anymore. We're asking for $7,566 to buy a SolidWorks license to protect our IP, launch our official business, launch our website, trademark our logo, and afford 3 more units for testing. Next 2 slides. So thank you for listening. Do we have any questions?
This is John Policino. Great presentation, but could you help me a little bit in understanding exactly how it works, how it feeds the, I guess, the seeds or whatever that are going to grow the produce?
Sure. I just want to go back to the slide with the model on it. So essentially what we have here for the model itself is broken in what I would consider 2 major components. The main volume of the machine itself is the large box you see there, which would be the growing compartment. In that compartment, you'd have a large quantity or large volume of soil, which would be lit by LED lights, which have a very low energy consumption. And around the back, on the back end of the machine, is really where most of the magic happens. Because the system is enclosed, we do not have to add water throughout the cycle of the plant growth. So as moisture is given out from the plant and the soil, the system in the back, our environmental control system, can recondense the moisture in the air, bring it down the pipes, and put it back into the soil to continue giving the plant nutrients. Additionally, with the environmental control system, we have the ability to not only control how much water the plant is given based on how much we recondense the humidity. Additionally, we have control over the temperature, and we have antibacterial systems in these environmental controls that we can use to create optimum environments to increase the yield and optimize the compartment for any plant, on top of being able to create a diverse set of environments to grow a wide variety of plants.
So your first prototype is actually delivered what you just described?
Yeah, it's in construction, but we believe it will deliver all of those features, yes.
Okay, thank you.
How did you determine the productivity that you cite for that? Did you do that based upon some kind of a testing, or did you do that based upon data from someone else that had done this?
Well, I created I collected a whole bunch of data points from a bunch of different experiments that were run under conditions similar to ours and using methods similar to ours. And so from those, I took the averages. So this isn't the yields I showed were not the highest we expect from it, but they're also they're like right in the middle. So we expect it to yield somewhere around there.
Thank you.
So this is Cindy again. So how large are these units? And just, I mean, you may have already said this, but are you able to grow only one thing at a time? Are you growing multiple products simultaneously? I mean, I think that the idea is is really kind of cool, and it seems like a modern day, way of gardening. Anybody could do it. I mean, certainly targeting towards people who need it. It makes a lot of sense, but I'm having a hard time understanding how big this garden is.
Okay, so like each one of these units is 12 inches by 12 inches by 30 inches. We will plant multiple plants within this, and it will end up becoming thickly vegetated. We're planning for it to look really green inside, lots of leaves. You would take several of these units and stack them together to act as a system. We expect a system for a person eating 4,000 calories to take up less space than someone's bedroom. So we're talking about a fraction of a small bedroom.
Okay, thank you.
We have time for probably one more question if there is one from any of our judges.
Any cost issues been identified in terms of what you think this thing will take to be marketable?
The cost should not be much of an issue. As we said previously, prototypes costs are projected between $400 and $500. But
no,
as
446 is our prototype cost.
But as the construction is a majority just simple aluminum, and most of the parts that the system actually uses are commercially available, as we start scaling, economies of scale will work quite well for this product and will greatly decrease the cost of unit production.
Thank you.
Okay, well, with that, thank you very much, Terminus. In my defense, you can see why I thought you were building a spaceship. But what you're actually doing is way cooler. So thank you so much. That was an amazing presentation. Really glad I got to see it. So with that, we are moving on to our seventh presentation of the evening. I should fully disclose a conflict of interest. I have already put an order in with our seventh team of the evening. You shall see why. It is Tommy V's Gelato. And after the preliminary pitch off, I was so hungry, I hit him up on Instagram and demanded a delivery. So if Tommy V is ready to share the screen, and then I can pass over for Tommy V to give his presentation. So over to you, Tommy. Good luck.
Hello, everyone. Can everyone hear me?
Perfect.
Can everyone see my screen? Yes? Okay. All right, let me introduce myself. My name is Tommy V. I'm a senior undergraduate studying accounting and entrepreneurship. So food is a symbol of social cohesion. The act of eating and sharing connects us with our friends and family. However, 2020 has shown us how culturally divided we are. The pandemic has magnified Asian xenophobia and racism. Hate crimes and discriminatory acts have been severely understated, with millions of Asian individuals being targeted. I have personally been a victim of this discrimination, and I can see the growing cultural divide and role. The Asian demographic has given so much to this country, with millions of jobs and small businesses. Yet statistics show we have been heavily impacted. However, instead of fighting hate with hate, I decided I want to be the change I see in my community. To me, gelato is the vessel for me to express my culture and imagination. I strongly believe that food brings people together. I want to connect the community with my gelato in 4 ways: delivering a quality gelato experience, cultural integration and inclusion, adding economical value to Lowell, and eco-friendly business decisions. Now I want everyone to imagine tasting soft, silky, decadent, and pleasantly cold gelato with a balanced, earthy green tea taste. What I just described was all my gelato flavors: matcha. Introducing Tommy V's Gelato, the fusion of Italian machinery and technique with popular Asian flavors. When I conducted my survey, there's a demand for Asian flavors and better local frozen dessert options. My gelato is also lactose-free, where customers have an easier time digesting dairy. And just like a chef's table at a fine dining restaurant, I want my gelato to be a visual experience. With continuous churning, this will allow me to make my gelato right in front of the customers, and it's the freshest way to eat gelato. During my catering events, I'll have 3 continuous churning machines, and it'll allow me to serve 3 flavors from my wide selection. So these catering events will allow a fun and social experience for my customers, where individuals from different backgrounds can come together and be able to enjoy gelato together. partnering with organizations that represent the Asian community. Together, we can push for cultural awareness. And this new cultural experience will lessen the racial divide and build a stronger and more positive community. So fusion food has been a leading culinary innovation in the restaurant industry. Through a survey of 50 global residents and from multiple backgrounds and ages, there's a demand for better local frozen dessert options. Lactose intolerance is also a common issue for individuals eating ice cream. And the frozen dessert market is a growing market in the US. And it's to be a great opportunity to bring a new fusion frozen dessert option to Lowell. And who doesn't like ice cream, right? And just like gelato, it's enjoyed through all ages. Lowell has one of the highest Asian populations in Massachusetts, and it's only natural for my flavors to target the Asian demographic in Lowell. Majority of my events will be held at UMass Lowell, where the university organizations will hire my service, so I can serve to the students and the public. Other local businesses or organizations outside UML can be customers for my catering service as well. And gelato just makes me happy, and I just want to share that happiness with everyone. So I invested so much time and money in studying gelato from culinary school, so I can provide the highest quality gelato to my customer. And I have lived in Lowell majority of my life, and I'm knowledgeable of the neighborhoods, local businesses, and restaurants, so I can effectively target my customers. And I'm currently piloting my product, and I'm actively selling it and getting to know locals from Lowell. And as a university student, I'm given the opportunity to widen my reach and be able to serve this blessed community. And to help me stay on track, my E4All mentors and professors from UML will be guiding me along the way. So I asked for $5,150 to lessen the startup costs for my catering events. The $1,850 will be allocated to legal fees for my commercial kitchen, which will allow me to legally produce my gelato. And the other $3,300 will allow me to purchase one of the 3 continuous train machines I need for the 3 flavors I serve at my catering events. And then thank you for everyone for listening, and I'm open to questions now.
So Tommy, 2 quick questions. One is you're just going to do it in one location and then you're going to bring it to places to sell, are you thinking more also about maybe doing literally the food truck, the gelato truck? Are there other ways that you want that distribution can come into play? And then the second question very quickly is, beyond Lowell, where else do you see this playing in the New England region?
Of course, I've developed a distribution model with my mentors, and right now I'm currently selling my gelato through like these pints, as you can see, to customers in Lowell. And as a food truck, for me, that's not the direction I want to go to. Ultimately, my goal is to have a physical location in Lowell, a gelateria. And the reason why I want to have these catering events is to really, push for cultural Asian awareness and the whole education part, and partnering up with these, beautiful Asian organizations at UML. This will help me push my my passion and what I stand for, like morally.
Tommy, quick question. Cost-wise, do you know what it costs you to make the product and what you can sell it for? Can you make money doing this? Is it going to be a very expensive product?
Of course. I've calculated the cost of the 3 flavors I have for these care events. As you can see on my appendix, usually an average event will be around 3 hours, and I'm able to serve roughly 400 servings during that time. And as you can see, you can break down how much my revenue breakdown, my expenses, and overall break even.
How does that compare to a physical? You talk about wanting to have that physical presence and be there in the community part of it. How does that compare to actually doing an event? I mean, when I understand physical presence, like some type of storefront, is that what you're ultimately thinking?
Yes, but for me currently, I want to have cater events at UML. And my overall value proposition is fresh gelato you can see being made right in front of you, the whole serving aspect of it. Okay. That really, gives a connection between myself and the customer.
Okay.
Are there any more questions from the judges for Tommy V? Okay. In which case, thank you, Tommy.
Thank you.
I'm sure you've made 79 people starving hungry at 6:30 at night again. So thank you very much for that. But no, fantastic presentation as always. I'm really glad we got to see it. So with that, thank you, Tommy. We are moving over to our 8th group of the night, which is TrueFit. And our team presenters here are Sidhan Iyer, lost my page, Sidhan Iyer, Justin Markulia, apologies there, and Pranav Ramaswamy. So I shall pass over to TrueFit if they are ready to share their screen and start their presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Shortland.
You're welcome.
Pranav, you can start.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Research conducted in the organizations such as the University of Cambridge, CDC, and NIOSH and Stanford University have shown that even the smallest gaps in mask fit and seal can compromise the barrier protection and reduces filtration efficiency. As of today, there is no indication of the correct fit without expensive and specialized equipment. TrueFit presents the world's first real-time indicator of fit for commercially available face masks. I am Pranav Ramaswamy, a freshman at Westwood Academy.
I'm Siddhant Iyer, master's student in plastics engineering.
I'm Justin Markulia, business student.
And we're advised by Dr. Dimitra Bello.
Masks are the first line of defense against the spread of airborne infectious diseases, carcinogens, and other hazardous wastes. But what is the point of having a mask if it doesn't work because it has different ways that these hazardous contaminants can get through? Because it doesn't matter what it's made out of if there's a leak. That's the missing link, is the real-time detection of optimal fit, and that potentially expose the user to these hazardous contaminants. This is a critically unmet need for all forms of respiratory devices, and studies have shown mask fit can change over time. Many subjects fail fit tests after a year of using the same model mask, and over 5 million casualties each year resulting from poor fit. So a lack of a proper fit significantly reduces their performance and protection against harmful particles. Current methods of testing mask fitness are cumbersome, require special equipment, and takes considerable time. Additionally, there is no real-time detection for assessment for masks. This presents a dire unmet opportunity for a unique, innovative solution.
So we surveyed 100 mask users, including some members in the audience, to comment on their quality of mask fit and the number of times they adjusted their mask to obtain a proper fit. A staggering 77% of users indicated that they were dissatisfied with the quality of fit, while 98% of the users had to adjust their masks at least twice a day to obtain a proper fit. In the overall market for respirators, industries such as construction, manufacturing, healthcare, and currently even educational settings are the leading sectors in terms of the volume of units utilized. In these settings, students and employees within these crowded environments share a common dilemma, rendering them susceptible to hazardous exposure if proper PPE is not utilized. During COVID-19, they would face a risk of having at least a 2-week mandatory shutdown, even if a single individual was infected. But beyond COVID, the implications are far more consequential in high-risk industries, where failure to obtain a proper seal could lead to life-threatening consequences. Although amidst the recent COVID-19 pandemic, there has been a heightened awareness of the importance of masks for protection against airborne contaminants, our target is towards high-risk industries such as construction and manufacturing beyond the pandemic. TrueFit offers a versatile solution in the form of a thermochromic mounting system that can be integrated with commercially available respirators to provide a more secure and conformal seal, as shown in the image. Consequently, users can visualize seal breakthrough and leaks in real time using temperature-sensitive visual indicators. This allows for the real-time detection of fit in respirators in high-risk environments. As you can see in this video, our solution can be easily integrated into any kind of mask, allowing the user to verify fit during application. The indication of an airtight seal is verified by the instantaneous color change in these thermochromic dyes that are in contact with the user's face. The presence of the black color indicates an improper fit or leakage. Our device qualifies sealability on a scale from poor to good, such that a user facing a mirror or another coworker can rapidly flag a poor seal, promptly triggering readjustment of the respirator. This technology responds to the unmet need to enhance mask effectiveness, whose benefits will serve the healthcare sector and high-risk industries for decades to come. So currently, there are no other face masks in the market that offer a visual indication for ensuring optimal fit and seal. However, there are strapless alternatives in the market that provide an adhesive sealing mechanism, but do not provide an indication of seal, like the strapless N95 respirator offered by Avery Dennison. TrueFit is revolutionary in the way it combines the aspect of a readjustable seal and an accurate and visual indication of seal breakthrough. It is non-cumbersome, accurate, does not involve expensive instrumentation, and is suitable for real-time detection under all environments. Additionally, some major impacts from the implementation of our technology includes minimizing the airborne transmission of highly infectious particles and cost and time benefits by reducing the probability of workplace shutdown. TrueFit has conducted an extensive prior art search and is in the process of filing a series of provisional patents for multiple generations of these masks. We are also performing fit testing using an in-house port-account 8038 fit tester and intend to conduct an unbiased case study. In the near future, TrueFit pledges for $7,500 in funding from DifferenceMaker to cover costs associated with materials, testing, equipment rental, and IP-associated costs for the successful commercialization of its technology. Additionally, TrueFit plans to access the support of the UMass Lowell ecosystem, the outstanding equipment rented by the Fabric Discovery Center, M2D2, and the Innovation Hub to expedite its product towards commercialization. We thank the audience for listening to our pitch and open the room for any questions.
This is thanks for the presentation. It's really good. Is this product sort of designed for disposable masks primarily, or is it a reusable product?
So basically, we're designing the accessory, and this accessory can be integrated onto any kind of mask. It's a versatile solution. However, in order to sustain the solution beyond the pandemic, our product is primarily targeted towards these high-risk industries like construction, mining, where people are exposed to hazardous nanoparticles and they don't know about it.
Yeah.
And in those cases, having even a tiny bit of leak could be detrimental because they're exposed to these toxic particles and could lead to life-threatening consequences.
Got it. Is it waterproof, or is it sort of, does the surface of the skin have to be dry? Like, does it stay, do you stay protected in only a dry environment? Or I'm just curious about.
No, that's a very good question that you raised, and like I mentioned in my pitch, we have different generations of these masks. And in one of the generations that we're currently working on, this mask, the accessory on this mask can be machine washable due to due to the adhesive component that can only be activated at certain temperatures. Unfortunately, I'm not at liberty to discuss more information due to the proprietary nature and the ongoing IP process, but I hope that gives you an indication of the answer.
So I just want to build on what Lorna's questions. And maybe you can't answer this because of the proprietary issue, but so are you saying that the accessory is reusable?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So the accessory is reusable, and also these mask designs comprise of multiple layers of these adhesives that are separated by polyester liner. So these can be reusable up to multiple times a day.
Well, one of the reasons I was asking about waterproof is because I'm a scuba diver, and I can imagine a leisure activity, application of a process that affects a more efficient seal. It's a big problem for scuba divers. It's not like a life-threatening one though, but it just made me wonder if there was another application. Sorry.
Are you doing IP disclosures through the UMass Lowell Intellectual Property Office? Is that what's happening?
Not really. We're actually doing it as a separate entity by ourselves. So we're planning to establish an LLC, and we will intend to access some of the UMass resources as an external party. in all these cases.
So this is Brian. Can you, maybe you can or can't, talk about a little bit about the pricing? Is how expensive is this thing?
Oh, I can answer that. It's a great question too. So to give you a high-level overview, implementing this into existing manufacturing lines would represent a 12% increase in as an added cost per unit of mass manufacture. If you want to go into a little bit more detail of how we got to that number, we're accounting for the raw material costs for these thermochromic inks, these medical grade skin safe adhesive, and the packaging and encapsulating materials, which represent a minimal cost per piece when you account for economies of scale, let's say for 10 million masks. There needs to be investment into additional instrumentation, which would be implemented in the assembly line for existing mask manufacturers, which would represent a high fixed cost, but the price per mask would kind of plateau down once you reach a high throughput, let's say 10 million. And accounting for labor costs, if we're producing in the United States, of like $15 to $20 an hour, and assuming a throughput of 300 masks per hour per person, you would see only about a 3.6 to 5.4 cents increase in the production costs per mask. This is, of course, not accounting for other miscellaneous costs like land, electricity, quality control, administrative costs, and even certification costs.
Thank you.
Yep.
Did this come out of the professor's work, some research the professor did, or is this something you came up with independently?
No, this is something that we came up by ourselves, the team, myself, Justin, and Pranav, and we actually requested Professor Bello to be our advisor and mentor through this project. Given his expertise in the field of hazardous exposure and environmental hazardous exposure specifically.
Is it safe to assume that since it will protect the wearer from contaminants coming into the mask, does it successfully also work in the reverse? It sounds like it might, right? That like anything that the wearer might have
right.
in their system would be stopped from being exposed to people around them. Right. So surgical applications, for example, could
right.
be.
Yes, absolutely. It goes both ways. So the medical grade adhesive that is mounted onto the periphery of these masks ensures a conformal seal around the face, such that there are no leaks essentially. So a person won't contaminate the environment and would also be safe from any contamination from the edges, the periphery, basically.
Got it.
Okay, I just have to jump in there just to call time. Siddhant, Pranav, Justin, thank you so much for the presentation. I have two requests. Could you attach a siren when it's worn underneath the chin? And then could you please sell it to everybody at my gym who currently wears kind of like a chin warming vibe? So a few little modifications, but no, great presentation, very innovative and loved it. So thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Dr. Shorten.
All right, I shall be moving us on to our penultimate team for the evening. Apologies if I mispronounce this, but it is V-Vest, and it is Alex Frawley. So Alex, whenever you're ready, please, share your screen, and the floor is yours.
All right, thank you. And it's V-Vest. It was a great try, but
it was one or the other, and I got it wrong. So sorry about that, Alex.
No worries. All right. Thank you, everyone. My name is Alex Frawley. I'm a junior in the Manning School of Business, and tonight I'm going to be presenting to you my product idea, Vi-Vest. For the past few years, I've been dabbling in the sport of CrossFit, and since my brother's a coach, I've been able to drop into gyms from time to time, as well as partake in workouts with him in his home gym. CrossFit is a sport that involves multiple exercises done in a specific order, usually with quick transitions. Within the sport, there's always been a few movements that I've absolutely dreaded. These movements, pictured on the right, along with your traditional back squats, have always seemed to be more pain than gain, due to the heavy metal barbell crashing into my collarbone and cervical spine areas. To be clear, collarbone is this front bone here, which is extremely vulnerable during these lifts, and the cervical spine is the back of the neck, which lines up directly with the barbell during mentioned back squats. Turns out I wasn't alone. Over the past 20 years, CrossFit has grown to over 15,000 gyms spanning across 120 countries. With over 4 million CrossFitters out there, it wasn't a stretch to assume that others were experiencing the same issues as me. As a secondary market, Olympic lifters and university athletes are also partaking in these movements, which accounts for another 1 to 2 million users. I conducted a survey across 6 different CrossFit gyms, found that over 78% of members were experiencing this same pain and bruising during their everyday CrossFit workouts. My next worry was if this had become a generally accepted part of the sport, and I was relieved to learn that over 63% of respondents said they'd be interested in a product to reduce this pain and bruising. Through a simple Google search looking for answers to collarbone and cervical spine pain, I found common remedies to include wearing an extra shirt during your workout, wearing a sweatshirt and rolling up the hood for extra padding, and even tying a towel around the bar for extra padding. I also found a sports bra available, which offers a thin layer of padding over the collarbone area. It is exclusively available to women, cutting their target market in half. And at the high price range of $70 to $80 per bra, you'd have to purchase 4 or 5 to get you through the week. It was clear to me at this point that there was a gap in the market. My solution was to develop a lightweight wearable vest with foam padding placed on the collarbone and cervical spine areas to protect CrossFitters from pain and discomfort during these barbell lifts. This puts the limiting factor on the athlete's strength rather than how much pain they can endure. It'll both reduce the physical pain that they experience in the gym, as well as the anxiety associated with the discomfort of these lifts. It is the vest itself was designed to be with the feedback from over 100 members and coaches within the CrossFit community, is designed to be an accessory allowing for easy on and off throughout the flow of a workout, and will allow for our customers to only have to purchase one to get them through their lifting needs. It is also a unisex product, which will come in multiple dimensions, allowing for access to all shapes and sizes. The designs you see on the left were created with the help of a manufacturer. I worked directly with their design team in order to get feedback and ideas about the limitations of the features in the fabric, which will help maximize the efficiency of the product. I worked diligently to gather resources to help propel this product into the market. Resources such as my brother previously mentioned, who has over 10 years experience in CrossFit, over 100 members and coaches within the community who have given valuable feedback about features they'd like to see, as well as performance notes. I have established a partnership with 3 former professional CrossFitters who have made a living off of this industry and have extensive knowledge about the monetization of it, as well as its capabilities. I've talked to a manufacturer who understands the task at hand and is working to provide samples, which will ultimately result in a testable prototype. And I've spoken to doctors and physical therapists who will help with the design process in order to get the medical certifications necessary following the final design. I foresee a $7,000 budget for this project, $5,000 of which will go towards the prototype development through its various stages. $1,000 will go towards the patent, including the product design, as well as its unique protection technology. And another $1,000 will go towards the product testing and marketing, which will include social media marketing, as well as sending samples to current professionals in the sport. Thank you so much for your time and consideration. I'd be happy to answer any questions at this time. You could also reach me at my email, alexanderfrawley1@gmail.com, or through my LinkedIn profile, which is under my name, Alex Frawley. Thank you.
Good. Any questions from the judges?
Nice prezzo, Alex. I think that I think that this is a really interesting little niche product. And it sounds like an ingenious sort of innovation around this particular issue. And you've demonstrated some scale, to this problem, given the scope of CrossFit users and lifters and et cetera. Do you have any early indication of a price point? I know it's early days yet, but given that you've been talking to manufacturers, do you have any kind of, estimate?
Yeah, so I've heard some rough estimates when it comes to the time that they put in, as well as the materials. It will depend on the sourcing, but it looks like for the first run, it's going to fall somewhere between $30 and $40 per unit to produce. And I would like to keep the price range in the probably, I would say like $100 to $120. I would like to stay at the high end of that because from what I've seen in business, you can always bring the price down, but it's hard to bring the price back up. So I'd rather start in that 120 range.
Is that comparable to other, sports related protection gear? Is there some sort of benchmark?
Yes, so it would be most comparable to like a weight belt, something that you throw in your gym bag, you have one of. Those can range, it depends on which kind you're getting, but those can range from around $70, $80 up to, like $200 or $300, depending on the brand and the material that you're getting. But yeah, because you're only purchasing one, the higher price range is pretty usual.
Mm-hmm. Have you at all explored a discussion with CrossFit about a cross promo or a cross production process?
So not CrossFit itself. So I will bring up these. So the professionals that I have involved in it, they were former champions, former competitors. So they have connections within the world of CrossFit, not directly the brand CrossFit itself, because they don't really produce many products rather than just the competitions. But like Reebok, Rogue, the massive names within the industry, they have corporate connections with those.
Got it.
And Alex, this is Cindy. So I think as this one product, you could see it as a niche product. You could see it, there's clearly a need for it, and I think it would help a lot of people. And your passion has, really comes through. So thank you for that. What do you see some extensibility of this brand down the road for other indications, other uses? Because I go to the gym too, and there are certain things that I'd like to see done. Even when you're lifting weights and you're wearing the gloves, sometimes the gloves fall apart, they just move around. Is it a niche product, or is it something you see extended beyond, CrossFit and your current application?
Absolutely. So as I mentioned, I would like to get it involved in some sort of physical therapy usages, so medical usages, for rehabilitation for athletes or people just coming off of collarbone injuries, cervical spine injuries, things like that. But also, like you said, like the everyday gym goer, just finding remedies to those. So I do have a few ideas down how to expand the brand rather than just a specific one product. I've also been thinking of different ways to innovate on top of this product to different features that I've gotten feedback about from members and coaches that they would like to see. So I'd like to develop further like a 2.0, 3.0 of this to help modify it and reach those needs.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any, have you come across, do you have any concerns with regards to what type of material you'll be able to use that will provide the value that you're looking for and not create a limit of motion or mobility for the user?
Absolutely. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there. So that's been the most difficult part of this process, is trying to find things. So when you're going overhead, to make sure it doesn't bunch up, to make sure that the material can withstand the constant barbell hitting it over and over. So the manufacturers that I'm working with have personal relationships with people at 3M. So they've been working with them to try to find durable materials that are flexible, but also durable and also machine washable. So I'm trying to make sure that this product, as it is a gym accessory, is able to be washed and reused and not just, get disgusting and sit in the trunk of your car forever.
Okay, we have probably time for one more quick question, if there is one. Okay, if not, Alex, thank you so much. You can put me down for one because I know the exact bruises you're talking about. So when you're ready, send me an email and I'll happily buy this product. I think it's a really good invention. So well done. So with that, everybody, we have arrived at our final presentation of the evening, the 10th team. We are now at Wonder Wheel. And this is a team comprising of Sansriti Sharma, Alexander Hofer, Kang Nguyen, and Rashal El Ghazal. So if you are ready, Wonder Wheel, the floor is yours. Fantastic, Alex. Thank you very much.
I lost my unmute button. Apologies. Good evening. We are Team Wonder Wheel. The United States has a significant wheelchair using population. Of these 3.6 million wheelchair users, many struggle when using their wheelchairs for extended periods of time or traveling long distances. Many users we surveyed reported chronic injuries from manual propulsion. Some wheelchair users turn to power wheelchairs to address their needs, but these can cost around $10,000. For the 80% who use their chair part-time, power assists are more suitable. A power assist is an electric add-on for a wheelchair that enhances or replaces manual propulsion. However, these two can be very expensive, averaging around $6,000. The users we surveyed found this price well beyond their means, with most being able to afford a device costing $2,000 or less. Recently becoming a wheelchair user myself introduced me to this community. Speaking to several members made it clear that both power wheelchairs and wheelchair power assists are extremely difficult to get through insurance. When I went through the process myself, the sheer cost, even after having good insurance, was so good that I couldn't afford it. However, to make sure this was a product needed by the community, we also put out a survey. Within a week, we had 78 responses, but the potential market is far beyond that, with 1.5% of the US population using wheelchairs, according to a consensus of 2014. A study done in North Florida showed that when power assistance are available to wheelchair users, it expands their opportunities and enhances their quality of life. From a small community, we found that most would use assist 2 to 3 days a week and in various ways from indoor to outdoor.
Our research found that most devices on the market are unaffordable. Even the cheapest competitor, being the ChillCare Companion, exceeds the $1,000 to $2,000 range that our survey established as affordable. Many existing power assist devices lack essential features such as full powered steering and the ability to go in reverse. The smart device on the top right is expensive. It offers some steering assistance, but still relies on the user for manual steering. The companion in the lower right relies entirely on the user for the manual steering. For the groups we surveyed, manual steering can cause stress and strain in the shoulder, pain in the wrists and hands, and could potentially cause chronic injuries.
Our solution is the Wonder Wheel, a motorized caster that attaches to the back of a manual wheelchair. The main value of our design is its low cost and focus on accessibility, utilizing joystick control to minimize strain and granting precise powered steering. Additionally, we are working on a companion app that will allow users to view device statistics and adjust performance to their liking, as our survey indicated a desire for this feature. Here is a demonstration of our proof of concept prototype. It operates using an Arduino microcontroller, taking input from the joystick and sending commands to the motor controllers. It was made with a budget of about $1,000, with the largest costs being for pre-machined structural parts, the motors, and battery. We expect many of these costs to go down on a production-ready device due to the ability to buy components in bulk and optimize required machine work.
Funding from DifferenceMaker, we were toward building our next prototype based on what we have learned from our proof concept. Our estimated total funding for this stage is $5,000. $3,000 will be put toward the prototype to cover material costs, machine part, building custom circuit board, and testing different approach. Another $2,000 will be used to buy wheelchair to ensure our product will fit different model, as well as whatever extra tool may be necessary. Thank you very much for your listening. Is there any question?
Yes, John Pollicino. I'm just curious with the different brands of wheelchairs and how you connect your device. Is there some universal parts that would work, or do you have to have some kind of adapter that would, marry the two together? How would that work?
So that so far has been one of the focuses of our design research, because wheelchairs don't really have standardized frames. They have standard dimensions in certain ways. There's 3 standard wheel diameters, 22 inch, 24 inch, and 26 inch. So the height of the device is fairly easy to determine. But as far as attaching to the chair, what we're hoping to do is find common frame models, having actual physical access to them, and examining what modular, or looking to a modular approach and figuring out what would work best.
Thank you.
What do you see as the path to market now? How close are you to market, and what are the critical next steps to get this into the marketplace?
So from where we are right now, we plan to make a user experience prototype, which would be more like, so the one we did right now was just a proof of concept where we saw that this is possibly could be made. But next we'll see how to make it as usable, user-friendly and things like that. And then beyond that, we would have to look at FDA regulation and things like that, and then go to market.
What's the power source? And how do you, is it rechargeable? All that kind of stuff.
It's a lithium-ion battery, which is rechargeable.
And do you know what the, like, are there limits to, you know, the duration of use, or the sort of, does it change based on sort of weight requirements? I'm just curious about sort of how long someone could, you know, use one charge, or
So-
one source of one battery source. Sorry.
Based on our current testing, a lot of it does depend on the weight of the rider.
Mhm.
So someone who is heavier, it's going to draw more current, require more power. On our current testing, it would probably last for about an hour of continuous forward driving on heavier users, and for lighter users around 2 hours. And our goal is that for someone in, you know, the 100 to 150 pound range, we have a nice solid 2 to 2.5 hours of continuous driving.
In terms of durability, have you tested it on uneven road surfaces, the bumps that come on sidewalks, things like that? What are some of your durability concerns right now that you've identified?
So we have tested it in a variety of, you know, uneven road environments. Our biggest concern with those is actually not just durability, but road contact. We're looking into making a mechanical suspension system on our next device to both insulate the structural frame from road forces, as well as ensure regular contact.
So do you have any idea how much weight these things are going to be? How much more weight are you going to add to it?
The current weight is below 10 pounds. I think it's 9.3. Correct me if I'm wrong.
8.3.
Yes. So it definitely does add a decent amount of weight, but in terms of the advantage you will get, it evens out.
And so that's not too bad. And does that include the battery?
Yes.
Yeah, we're aiming for our finished device to have a weight of 15 pounds or less. A lot of the devices on the market are, the Smart Drive is about that heavy off the top of my head. The Yamaha Navi series devices are around 30 pounds. Some of the devices can actually be quite heavy.
So you brought up a slide with, you had the different prices of your competitors. What do you think you guys, where do you hope to land yours as far as price goes?
Between $1,000 and $2,000. Our current prototype to make costs less than $1,000. So hopefully that will also go down when we're not using prefabricated parts and things like that. So.
Yeah, and a question about portability. So, if you're, folding up the wheelchair, putting in your car to transport, do you disconnect this device? Is it a separate thing, or is it part of the folding mechanism? Does it fit nicely into the, the current folding, parameters within the wheelchair that you're going to put it on?
It would come off.
It would come off. Okay.
Yeah, we have investigated kind of hybrid approaches, because building into the attachment issue, we've been thinking, depending on how sturdy the connection for the mounting bracket has to be, that might stay attached to a wheelchair and be able to fold up with it, while the main device would just clip on and off.
Mm-hmm. And have you made any consideration towards partnering with other wheelchair manufacturers where you're providing the accessory, and you're working with them, maybe getting some support in terms of the some of this data analysis you're doing to find out how do you optimize your product design to fit on multiple size, wheelchairs. Are you partnering or considering that with any of the?
We are considering that, but I've made a few cold emails. We haven't heard back yet. So it's a work in progress.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, just quickly, alternatively, have you looked at, are there certain models of chairs that are more popular than others in the market that might be an opportunity to, as to get out a viable product that you target something that's more popular or maybe more likely to be a demographic where people would be interested in this add-on as opposed to others that maybe not?
Yes, going forward, one of our main research areas is going to be what are the most popular styles of chair and what's the easiest way to accomplish a mounting solution for those so that we can cover as much of the market as possible.
Okay, just going to have to jump in there, Alex. Thank you very much. Thank you for your presentation, judges. Thank you for the questions there. And all, we have arrived at the end of our 10 teams and their presentations. And I would like to thank the teams for their incredibly informative, concise presentations. It can't be easy to condense that much work and passion into 5 minutes. Thank you, judges, for the Q&A. Incredibly informative, and I hope you enjoyed the back and forth there. I'd like to thank the moderator, which is me, for keeping us to time. That hasn't happened at a DifferenceMaker event for as long as I can remember. So congrats, really, a job well moderated. But no, most of us have a 45-minute break. We can all log off, eat some Tommy V's gelato and relax for a little while. Judges, you are being asked to log off from here and then log into, I think, a private deliberation room to decide the award winners for the evening. And then we will all be back on this Zoom at 8 p.m. for the announcements. So congrats, everyone. Thank you so much. And I will see you all in 45 minutes. So
Okay,
well
sounds
done.
good.
All right, folks, without further ado, this is what you've all been waiting for. I do want to thank our judges who just did a fantastic job here in terms of deliberating. Everyone did a great job presenting. Can you all see this okay?
Yep.
All right, we'll blow it up. So we have the RIST Campus-Wide Difference Maker Award, Significant Social Impact Award, the Sutherland Innovative Technology Award, Contribution to a Healthier Lifestyle Award, the Jack M. Wilson First Product to Market Award, and Commitment to a Sustainable Environment Award. And then in addition, the teams that don't receive one of these awards will receive a $2,000 honorable mention award. And all the teams will be asked to participate in the summer boot camp program, where they will have the opportunity to refine their ideas and get feedback from our judges and from the mentors who will participate that. We're also grateful to Foley and Lardner, that is donating $15,000 in legal services, $5,000 each to 3 teams. So without further ado, I know it's been a long night and you're eager to hear who our champions are this evening. And the first award is Significant Social Impact, and that goes to Digital Life. Congratulations, Marita, Alejandra, Tina, and Amy.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Very good.
And you can see the very stylish wrist difference maker. We got to work on the background on that, Holly, so people can see the shape of it. But we will get you an award, and then Holly and the difference maker team will be in touch with you to get you into the summer boot camp. Well done. Thank you. Next up is the Sutherland Innovative Technology Award, a $4,000 award sponsored by Andrew Sutherland. And that award goes to Nav Lens. Congratulations, Nav Lens, Asa, Daniel, Alden, Christina, Edwin, and Jack. Well done. The judges look forward to seeing you move this technology forward. And again, you'll receive the award and you will be part of our summer boot camp program. The next award is the Contribution to a Healthier Lifestyle Award. And I know we had quite a bit of competition for this award this evening. And the winner of this evening's award is Apple a Day. And congratulations, Emily, Jack, and Paran. We look forward to seeing your Apple on every teacher's desktop. Well done. The next award is the Jack M. Wilson First Product to Market Award, sponsored by our own President Emeritus and Manning School of Business faculty member, Jack Wilson, who's a strong advocate for you and entrepreneurship and everything UMass. So thank you for that, Jack. The winner of that award is Wonder Wheel, Sanskriti, Rasha, Kang, and Alexander. Congratulations on the winning the First Product to Market Award. We have high hopes for this. We look forward to seeing your wheel on the back of wheelchairs zipping around Disneyland at some point. So thank you very much. One more of our category awards is the Commitment to a Sustainable Environment Award. That is a $4,000 award, and that award is going to Green Fertilizer. Samuel, Visal, and Bernard, congratulations again. You did a nice job tonight. We look forward to seeing your technology move forward, and we look forward to seeing Green Fertilizer mapped out across the continent there. Very well done.
Thank you.
With that, it brings us to our campus-wide Difference Maker Award. And this is an award that goes each year to a team that has worked hard on their idea, presents a solid idea, shows the energy, ambition to move it forward, and it's the kind of team we want to help represent the campus as we move out and compete in other spaces. And it's a $7,000 award. It's a pretty prestigious award, and that award this year will go to TrueFit. Congratulations, Siddhant, Justin, and Pranav, campus-wide difference makers for 2021.
Thank you very much,
well done.
Hello, and the Difference Maker, Risk Difference Maker team. We're very obliged to be the recipient of this award, and we also congratulate all the other award recipients.
Excellent, excellent. And we thank our sponsors of this award, Kim and Brian Rist. Brian is a graduate of the Manning School of Business, and I'm sure he will take a keen interest in watching this technology move forward. In fact, I think the judges overall unanimously felt that there's a lot of promise and a lot of opportunity associated with this award. So very well done. And folks, before we adjourn, we did have 4 honorable mentions. No one goes home a loser in Difference Maker. The idea here is to provide some seed funding to help you develop your concept a bit more. That honorable mention award will go to Concept Project, Terminus, Tommy V, and Viavest. And again, you will be invited to participate in boot camp as well, along with the other winning teams. And we've seen surprise come from behind winners come out of our honorable mention. So congratulations to you all. And with that, I would like to welcome Provost Hartman to the microphone to close out our events. Joe Hartman has been a strong advocate of Difference Maker and a good friend to UMass Lowell. And we really appreciate you being here tonight, Joe.
My pleasure, and I know to our judges, thank you so much for working overtime tonight. I don't know if you were grilling each other up there or Steve was just wanting to get more out of you tonight, but sincerely appreciate your support of tonight and of our students. To all the students out there, great work. I missed the first 2 presentations, but thoroughly enjoyed the rest. Just tremendous to take this on in the situation that we're on campus, but to take advantage of these opportunities. Holly, to you and your team, fantastic as always. You know, as I'm looking at going through all those projects, you guys covered food insecurity, sustainability, supporting people with disabilities, nutrition and health, health and safety, social justice. It's just amazing what a difference you do want to make in the world. And I hope these awards, small or big, doesn't matter. Continue pushing these things forward. It will all work out in the end. And again, thanks to everyone. Neil, great job tonight. Our faculty fellows, thank you so much for your support of the students, all of our students and your advisors. Again, to the judges and friends, thank you for tonight. Have a great evening. Stay safe. And let's hope we're doing this all in a big old room, celebrating together next year. Okay.
Thank you.
Well done, everybody. Congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations, everybody.
Thank you all very much.
Congratulations, everyone.
Thank you.
You, good night.